The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
Thinking about that, because then afterwards when I went home and listened to your record, I'm like, oh my god, it's like dreamy Murder City Devils. It's like if you were like, and then I kept imagining like the same tracks with like screaming unhinged like Spencer Moody on them, and I'm like, what a fucking trip that is. And like
as voice I would.
Yeah, it's like a really interesting counterpoint, because I never want to be like, oh, this band just sounds like that band. But it was a weird way to contextualize it for me, where I'm like, oh, wow. Like the minute you said that, I'm like all these doors in my mind just like opened up. And I'm kind of curious to start, like, what's your musical DNA that led you to like Spirit Hotel? Because you have like the chaos of like a band like Murder City Devils, and then more like the noir kind of thing of like later Mark Lanigan, stuff like that, which I know you're a big fan of, and we can talk more about that. But I'm kind of curious, like, at what point in your life did you start moving towards like, I guess, more melancholic predilections in your music, and interests, maybe an interest in music, or are they like,
Well, if this tells you anything, my parents had a really good record collection that my mom got in the divorce. So I grew up with like a great record collection in my house, and of my mom's records, like the first record that I remember like really loving and like singing along with was Screamin' Jay Hawkins, and it was the record Frenzy. And so that was, I mean, and I'm like, I feel like I'm like a caricature of myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, like I love that when I was like 4. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just always I don't know. I came out of the box like that, I guess.
Well, because it's funny, because like something like Screamin' Jay Hawkins, it's like you could see how like a young person would really like, it's so animated.
Yes, absolutely.
But like in the rear view, it's really crazy also. Like as an adult listening to some of that stuff, I'm like, yeah, he's really
Going for it.
taking it to like the next level. And I remember I was reading, you did like a short 6 Things interview, and you said you'd been playing music pretty much like your whole life. So when did that move into like songwriting or like playing in bands?
Well, let's see. I had my first band when I was 10, and I played drums in that band.
Jesus.
Well, I was lucky in that my mom's good friends owned a music shop in the town I grew up in. It's still there. And I just, I started with violin when I was 5. That was like my first instrument. And then my violin teacher moved overseas, and I didn't really click with the next teacher they had. So then I took piano, and then that teacher graduated high school and went to college, and so she left. And then at that point, I was like 9 or 10, and I decided I wanted to play the drums. So I started playing drums there, and the shop owner is a musician, and he started doing this thing where he would find kids taking various instruments and kind of put them together. Kind of like, I feel like it was like School of Rock, like, I don't know, a decade.
Proto School of Rock, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So it was cool. We, like he kind of like taught us how to be in a band. So that was my first like, young experience of that. And then I ended up, I kind of like ran off to Seattle after high school ended. I'm from upstate New York originally. And somebody was like, oh yeah, like I need a bass player. Like I'll show you how to play bass. And then I started playing bass in a band. And because also like, I feel like that gap in time, like I was just a really shy kid. So like, it's one of the reasons drumming didn't work out. Like I'm always like, that's the loudest thing on stage. And they like hear you when you mess up. So I'm like, I don't have the personality for that. But yeah, then I was a bass player in a band in Seattle, and it was around that time, like in my late teens, that I kind of started writing some songs. And then, oh my God, sorry, do you hear my phone dinging?
Yeah, no, it's no problem. No problem, though.
So yeah, like around that time, I started to kind of like write some songs on bass, and from there, I would like pick up a guitar to try and figure out like the chords around it to try and like make them into like songs. And then my first band that I had where I sang and like wrote some songs, I was like in my early 20s, and I had moved to New York. And
so
and then
how long were you active? How like active was that band, or both of those bands? I guess like in Seattle.
God. I mean,
like were you guys playing all the time?
In Seattle, like we definitely practiced regularly, but it was definitely like somebody else's band, and I was like that. I was like, I don't know, 19 or something, and everybody else was like 30-ish. So I was just kind of like doing as I was shown to do. But anyway, yeah, like I didn't, we definitely played, I don't know, a dozen shows over the course of a year or so. I don't know. And then when I was in New York, it was sort of like I played in like a number of different bands, but like this one band where like I actually got to write some of the songs and like sing them. Like I really loved that band, and then I stopped going to college because I was like, it's cool, I got my band together, like I'm just done. And I mean, I don't think I would have stayed in college regardless of the band situation, but of course the second I left band, like one of my bandmates moved out of the city to get himself. The other one like went backpacking through Guatemala, and then I was like,
that's like a huge tragedy. I feel like, especially like, at least for me, like in my early 20s, when my first like band I cared about dissolved, it was like very much my identity. Yeah, it was like my whole identity sort of like up to that point. Like, I mean, we weren't like going anywhere really. It wasn't like it was no professional band. We weren't touring, but it was still like something I had in my head. It was everything. And so like, what did you do after that stopped?
Oh my God. I mean, mostly, I would always like, I feel like I played like violin and fiddle in some bands. But then people would always be like, oh, like you play drums, like we need, like everybody always needs a drummer. And I'd be like, yeah, but I'm like not good. But I had fun playing drums with this one band with some friends of mine for a little while. Like it was like a total disaster band. But I feel like of any of my friends that have seen any of my bands play, that's like the show they would remember.
Most memorable. So maybe you're more chaotic behind the kit than you think.
I think I was just like existing in chaos, trying to keep a beat. I don't know what I was, I'm always like, how did I get here? Is kind of like the way I
Yeah.
move through life. So I'm just kind of like, where am I?
So yeah, I guess that's a good question. How did you? So like, when did you come to Massachusetts?
Oh, well, I moved to Massachusetts in 2014. Like I had met my husband in New York, and then I don't know, it was just kind of like, I feel like I had this fantasy that's probably really silly about like just being somewhere that you're like not from. Not that I'm from New York City, I'm not, but I lived there for a long time,
Mhm.
and it seemed, I don't know, like vaguely romantic to be like, I'm moving to New England and I'm not from here.
It's very quaint. Like
Yeah, totally.
even New England
Um,
at its like most assertive, it's like still
yeah,
kind of quaint. Like
yeah, totally.
Boston's like a really big small town. It's like
Yeah,
very
Boston is like,
tribal.
it's like a city of locals. It's super, I'm
Yeah,
still kind of like, I don't really get it, but I like the pretty parts of it. I think it's pretty. And I'm really happy that I found Salem because I feel like Salem is like, it's, it's just kind of like all checks all the boxes for me, you know?
yeah.
It's the ocean, which now living, I mean, it's funny, New York City is like on the ocean, but like you just don't interact with it in the same way that you do here, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
yeah.
no, keep going.
No, but it's great. And I feel like, Salem's like a little bit weird. And I feel like since I have like a thing for, I just like tourist towns and I always like fantasize about what Cape Cod is like in the winter, like the idea of like what's going on when it's not tourist season. And it's like mostly tourist season all the time here, but it's definitely like summer's like really cute and fun because it's not over the top yet, but there's like lots to do.
Yeah, it's like I grew up in Peabody, Massachusetts, and so like to me, Salem was like the most romantic thing. I'm like a mile away, like lived sort of right on the border. Um, and like I left there when sort of right around the time you moved, I guess I moved out of Peabody in like 2015, 2016. And that's when I feel like a lot of people were moving there and local music started to really expand to like a
Hmm.
wide degree with like Opus and
Yeah.
then Kodo and all that stuff. And it was crazy. Because I remember they're having these like Monday night shows at Opus, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden you'd have like 100 people to see a punk show on like a Monday night. Um,
Yeah.
and so like how long did it take you from moving to Salem to like get back to playing? Or I guess assuming you had stopped when you moved, but
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
mean, I feel like life, I, I think, like I thought about this a lot because I feel like I kind of, like New York is just so relentless and it's like my favorite place, like on earth, like pretty much hands down. But I realized that I think it was harder for me to have a creative practice there. And I used to kind of be like, oh, it's because, you're always just like working so much and then you're tired. And like the work I do involves like talking to people all day, which I feel like I kind of have to like shake it off to get into like back into my own like headspace. Um, but I think part of it too is like I always think about being a kid and I grew up in the middle of nowhere and that sort of like expansive like boredom of being nowhere I think fuels creativity. So I think living Salem's not boring, but it's like, it's like the quietest place I've lived as an adult and I think that contributes to being able to like be creative and also, COVID was really when I started writing songs again. Like I started, you know, probably like around the time I even moved to Boston in 2014. I feel like a lot of the time music will just like I'll have like a phrase or like a little melody or something that'll just like randomly like occur to me one day. And it hadn't happened in a long time. And then like I feel like my last few years in New York, like I mostly was just learning cover songs, like just weird old songs that I like to just give myself something like musical to do.
Mhm.
Um, because I wasn't really having any, I don't know, creative thoughts, I guess. But then moving up to Boston, I feel like I started having a little more like, I don't know, space, and it seemed like I was like having little ideas again. And then when everything shut down during COVID, that was really when I was like, oh, I can like write something. Like I can like pay attention to these little ideas in my head and started writing stuff. So
I like some like it's weird because I feel like COVID went like two ways for a lot of people, like people who were really creative, actively creative, and people who were just like, I don't know. Like for me, like I couldn't do anything really. Like I was
yeah,
heavily not inspired. It was kind of a relief because I was like, I guess I'm just not. I'm just wake up every day is the same, and that's
yeah,
fine. Um,
for
but
sure.
I've been thinking because like the first Spirit Hotel EP comes out in 2023, and so then it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, so this seems like a COVID genesis project.
Totally.
Like that seems like right around the time frame where I'm like, okay, that this is probably something that began or like the seeds were planted like around that time. And so I guess like how did it formulate into like go from you like working on stuff to a band to a
Yeah.
project to a band? Um,
Yeah. I mean, um, really like, I went and recorded with my friend Jeff Berner, who's in New York at Studio G in Brooklyn. And I went to him because, I mean, a million years ago, when he sort of first had his first studio, he was like, and we met, he was like, oh, I heard you play music. Like, if you ever want to record something, let me know. And then I just waited a really long time. And I was like, I know you have like a real big career now, but like, is that still an option? Um, and that was how I ended up like recording because he was like, yeah, sure, come down. Um, and then I don't know, it's like I felt like I spent so much time with those songs and I put them out and then I was like, well, there they are. And I felt like I was still like writing more and more. And then I actually went to a show that made me like want to be in a band again.
what was the show?
I
This
went
is
to see,
stuff I really want to know. Like,
yeah, I went to
I
see,
love when that happens.
I know, no, it was great. I went to see The Velt. Do you know them?
I don't.
They're amazing. It's like if you know the Ray Bradbury story, The Velt. That was what they were named after, but it's VELDT. I feel like it's not a word everybody knows. Um, but they're incredible. Um, and it was at O'Brien's. I had like heard of them because I really like Brian Jonestown Massacre, and they had the Velt open for them for a few shows in some part of the country. And I was like, what is this band like? I was like, have I heard of them before? I don't know. But anyway, I went to see them, um, and it was just like, I don't know, like there was just something about watching them and, you know, chatting with them afterwards. And they're like, oh, you play music? They're like, are you playing out? And I was like, no. And I was like, I don't enjoy that answer. And so that was sort of like that was the beginning of 2020 2024 in January. And I was just kind of like, I feel like I just was like, okay, like I'm gonna see if I can find some people.
It's time.
Yeah, like it's time. And I feel like I just sort of like, I felt like I put it out in the universe and the universe delivered.
Yeah, I mean it did because you have some really amazing people playing with you. Uh,
Yeah.
like how did you meet them all or the current incarnation of
Yeah. So
the
we
band?
have we've had some personnel changes this spring. And um, the one person who's been a member since the like beginning of the live band is my guitar player, Dan Jennings, who's also from Peabody originally.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look up that name because I feel like there's a lot of
I feel like
Jennings and Peavies. I feel like
it feels weird that I don't know how many like high schools are in Peabody, but I'm like, it feels weird that you guys would have grown up in the same town, both being musicians. And I think you're
yeah,
probably
I mean he's a in absolutely incredible player.
Yeah,
Last time I
he's
saw you
amazing.
guys, I'm like his style is perfect for the music. Monster player, monster, incredible taste, tone, feel,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And so it really feels like that has become more of like the signature, like part of like the signature sound.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely, yeah. Because and it's funny because like on the first EP, my friend Jeff played all the guitar leads, and when I thought about starting a band, that was like what gave me like the most anxiety was like, how am I going to find a guitarist that can like
be,
meet the level that Jeff operates at? Because Jeff, I don't know if you know the band Psychic TV, but Jeff was the guitar player for like the last iteration, like the final decade of Psychic TV, and he's just like an animal. He's insane. And so I was really nervous about finding a guitar player, but yeah, Dan. I mean, I feel like Dan and I also like have a nice. He's very easy to work with. Like, I feel like he has like no ego. He should have more ego. I feel. Um, and he doesn't mind me just being like, no, don't do that. Do it more like this. But it's like stuff I can't do. I'm not really a very skillful guitar player. So I feel like he's very tolerant of my kind of like ignorant requests.
oh,
Um,
like what's a yeah. I mean, I guess I feel your pain because I don't know how to. Sometimes I'm like, it should be a little more like crazy,
yeah.
adventurous kind of. Uh,
Yeah, like I'm always just, I feel like sometimes I'll be like, I mean, I've definitely sent Dan a lot of videos of Roland S. Howard. Do you know? Are you,
yeah,
okay.
Twang Captain General,
Yeah, totally.
the
But like you see
the
his
king
like
of the evil
live
twang.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
He was,
there was some live video I sent him of Roland, and I was like, "Can you play that? Can you play like this?" And and it's like so like blown out, like the audio is terrible. And Dan was like, "This is great, even though it sounds like it was never mind, just forget that. I'm not going to say that because I can't."
well, it gives a sense like what I love about that kind of guitar playing is it's very evocative of like a certain mood, but there's
Yeah.
also a lot of like intensity. Like it's very
Yes.
dark, it's very weird, but it's not afraid to be kind of like scrappy, which is like a interesting counterpoint to like the melodic stuff going on when you're singing, where you're living in like more dreamy zones. Uh, and so I had listened like this morning. I listened to the EP and the record back to back, and it's like pretty stark difference in terms of like scope. I
Yeah.
would say like the
Hmm.
first EP is really cool and it's kind of a lot poppier. Um, I would say like at least
Okay.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
ear,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
like
get that.
uh,
I
and
know. I feel like the word I like, I was always like, I like it. It's just more like slick sounding in a way. And I think and maybe it's poppy is the word I was looking for.
yeah, and I mean that in a complimentary way. I've learned I've
No,
embraced
I mean,
that.
it's
Yeah.
funny,
um, but like so shifting to Rev, was that just a matter of like or
I,
I can't pronounce it very French because I can't roll my
no,
R's that
that's okay.
well.
You did great.
Not gonna roll. I'm
Um,
just gonna do Rev, but
that, that's fine.
um,
Um, yeah, I feel, you know, I like, I mean, I think there's a few things that contributed to it being different. I think part of it is having like a live band. Um, and like even I think of like the drums on Roulette were like the only like live drums on the EP. And the drummer who played that, Richard Salino, like he's like a professional drummer, and he was able to do that. He did it in like 3 takes or something, and then just played the whole thing all the way through like perfectly. And I was like, okay. Um, but I feel like that is different than sort of like I don't know. I feel like it's different when you like sit with the songs for a long time. which it felt like, like collectively as a band, we all played a bunch and we played shows. And, um, I don't know, Dan changed his pedal board 15 times. It just, I feel like there was more, and it's more people playing. I always feel like that's a big part of it when you have, you know, maybe like the producer sort of like masterminding everything. Like you have one, like that's one kind of voice in there, and then like the songwriter's voice as well. You know what I mean? Like it was more like limited,
Yeah.
but then you have more people involved in making it. Um, it just, I feel like it gives it a little more like textures or more.
Yeah, like there's more like groove for sure. Like a lot of the songs have like
Yeah,
this kind of like I
yeah,
mean, obviously this is audio, so people can't see me doing like this wave with my hands. Um, but like, like walking down the street, slow motion kind of
yeah,
groove. Hopefully that like sort of paints a picture. Um, but what I thought was really cool is like it at what point like because the guitars are really awesome, but at what point was it a choice to give like a lot of like synth and it's not a very crowded mix. So like it could have
mhm,
easily gone to like more chaotic guitar kind of record, but it's very
sure.
synth heavy, very vocal forward, very dreamy in like the production aspect. And did that just sort of like happen? Or was there like a choice where you're like, I think we need to go in this
Yeah, I
sort of
love that because
direction?
I think about that a lot, like with other bands. Like there was some band I was listening to, and I'm like, do you think they were trying to sound like this, or do you think this is just what happened when you put these four people in a room and like that's kind of just like what they sound like? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh, so yeah, I think it's interesting that you call it vocal forward. I have like a whole weird thing about like singing. Like I don't really think of myself as a singer, which is silly.
very, very typical front person thing to say.
Is it? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like it's like either
in a good
goes
way.
that way, like you're one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
You're either that or you're like the main event. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I mean, I
Which is
think,
great. Like Spencer Moody's the main event. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah, and perfect example, like not a very particularly objectively, I would say not technically skilled singer in
yeah,
the conventional musical sense, but no one can
yeah.
do what he does. Like
Right.
if you try to do it, you'll fall up very it's so peculiar and particular.
Hmm.
Um and I mean, I don't know. I'm projecting my own experiences fronting a band, but I think there's like I know you had mentioned like being shy playing drums, but I think fronting a band there's always a desire to sort of like hide yourself and be the main attraction sort of at the same time. Like do you want both or are you really just sort of like
I mean,
is that
I
ego element not a
genuinely
part of it?
believe people hear the drums more than they hear me on stage, which is like probably, I'm probably lying to myself, but that's what I tell myself. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's like I want, I do want the songs to be heard. Um, and there is something, that like there is something obviously like appealing about like playing songs in front of people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
something that's like communicative or something.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, like in your first band or when you moved to Seattle, like being in a band that like isn't really you're in your band. You're in the band, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not really like your voice coming through. Um
Yeah.
and like there's a lot of people who are like cool just being in the band, you know. Like but
Yeah. I feel, I mean, oh wait, no, okay, sorry,
no, no,
finish.
no, what I would say is like I think like for anyone like really driven to songwriting, for a lot of people at least, there tends to be a moment where it's like, oh, I need something that like where I am representing myself. Not that like you don't like the musicality of like other bands, but something that is like a representation of how you think and feel and process the world, sort of. don't know. You tell me if I'm off base on that. That's
No,
just
I
sort of.
think you're right. And I think, I feel like I feel like I could, I mean, part of me is like, I don't know if I'm like good enough a musician to be in somebody else's band. Like, I think I could be a bass player in somebody's band. Like, I feel confident in my bass playing skills, but like, yeah, I mean, I definitely think part of the appeal of at this point of being in a band is like the songwriting
Mm.
aspect. Like, I feel like they feel, I don't know, enmeshed and like I like writing lyrics. Like I feel like that might be one of my favorite parts of it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm like, I don't want to subject someone else to having to like sing my words. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bands. Some bands do that. Once in a while, you'll have a band.
Motley Crue.
Yeah, like there's some
I don't
bands
know why
where
that's always my example of like one guy writes the song and one guy sings it.
probably would have been my example, but it is interesting. It isn't. I was thinking the band, like the band.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like probably that's like the first one that comes to my head.
yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, that's it's all very strange and weird to think about, but it's it feels like you have a lot of personalities that bring their personality to the music. And so I guess to think about you're talking about lyric writing, um, I guess there's a million different ways you could do this. It's sort of like the most boring question, but do you spend a lot of time like poring over them, editing, like nitpicking, or is it just sort of like flow?
Um,
Like, are you looking for just
yeah.
like a
I feel like usually the first kind of like the initial like writing of the lyrics will go pretty um pretty quickly, like it'll usually come out and then it's usually like I just have to go in and because like I'll just kind of get everything down or I'll have like maybe a few like iterations of lines or whatever and then I'll go back and anything that's like really awkward or I can figure out a more like succinct wording maybe I'll I'll change that. It doesn't feel like a it's not like a tortured process,
Mhm.
Like I feel like it feels it's fun and I feel like I don't know.
No, I mean that's good. I mean, like I think the older I get, the more I realize that I'm like whatever first instinct is generally the best. Like if you're thinking
Yeah,
too hard, you're
yeah.
probably just chasing your own tail. Like if you have an instinct and it feels right, it's
Yeah.
probably right.
I
And
know. I feel like
it took me a long time to accept that. I'm still sort of working on
yeah.
that.
I know. I feel like but it's funny. Like my husband's a Libra, and Libras like famously can't make decisions. That's like the character trait. But he's really good because he's always like, just go with your first instinct. It's like I feel like he's like learned that skill, and I don't have that ability. Like I'll just be like, I don't know, like this or that or whatever, and then from hearing him always be like, just go with your first. Like I feel like I've brought that into this into Spirit Hotel that sometimes like I just if I have like an idea or an instinct for something or even if like a line is like weird but I like it and it was the first like I kind of am like, "Oh, okay. That was my first one for some reason like this is what I'm enjoying or liking or being drawn to." So, I try to just go for that.
Yeah, I realized it's like it's a it's a silly endeavor to like edit out the weird when so
Yeah.
many of like what makes songs we like interesting are
Yeah.
like phrasings and expressions that don't really
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Uh and it's sort I'm super interested in this right now as like lyrics as an experience of like felt meaning than like lyrical meaning. Like I used to think of lyrics as like this big endeavor that has to be like correct and orderly. And now I just want things that sort of feel a certain way. And
Yeah.
like with the music, it all kind of moves in a direction. And I think on the new record, you guys do that really well. Um, And I think like writing from a flow state, I know you talk a lot about like writing from dreams. The whole record is sort of, I guess, sort of about dreams. It's a frequent word that comes up,
Yeah.
which is funny because not too many bands have like code words. I have a friend who's in like a rock and roll band, and he has like radio in like 50% of his songs. It's just sort of a thing that like he's always thinking about the radio. The radio is very like in his brain. I'm always
Yeah.
thinking about blood. Blood is in like half my songs. I like tried to like not write it for a while. I took like a height, I
Yeah.
put a moratorium on using blood, but it's inevitable that I'm just like thinking about that. And Spirit Hotel, it's like dream, even on like the first EP, like
Yeah.
it seems to be like a reoccurring thing that you're thinking, feeling about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I
are
feel like. Hmm? Were you gonna say? Oh
keep
no, I
going.
was just gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
like I feel like from the first EP, the song Sleepwalk was sort of the first song that I wrote that was like dealing with dreams or dream imagery. Um, and I feel like that like kicked off the whole thing for the songs that I ended up writing for Rev. But it's interesting. I was trying to think. I know it might be the word dream. I feel like there was some word I was writing the other day, and I was just like, you gotta like pick a different.
Get to pick it to get the songwriting thesaurus out. But I mean, like, it's not like a nightmarish vision that comes across the Spirit Hotel, at least sonically. And I'm kind of curious, like, but maybe that's not true the way you're saying that now. So I'm kind of curious in like how directly you're thinking about like your dreams to the songwriting, um, if they're connected, and like
Interesting.
what's your experience like with like, is it like horrible nightmares that sort of connect to like directly connect to like the dreaming themes, or is it a little more abstract than that? I feel like it's probably more abstract, but I'm just kind of curious on like what
Yeah,
you
I
think
mean,
about that.
I think it's more. I mean, I feel like I've jokingly, maybe not jokingly, started thinking of the music as like the sound of existential loneliness. And,
That's a beautiful way to put it. You should put that in your bio.
I know,
Uh,
I was
uh,
thinking
uh,
about it.
you should. It'd be like a good
Um,
art sticker.
yeah. And I think I don't know. I mean, I feel like, dreams are like your subconscious just trying to like make sense of whatever. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's just it's more to me like examining my dreams is like, what haven't I figured out yet?
Hmm.
Like maybe there's some information there. Or just processing stuff that's like maybe hard to process, like in just day-to-day life. So maybe things you don't want to think about, things that maybe don't feel great to think about. But I feel like like I've always had like very vivid dreams, like my entire life. And I think they're always like very like visually interesting. So I think there's I don't know. It's like trying to like evoke a specific image and feeling with like a sound.
Yeah, no, I mean that totally makes sense because it's like there's something in the dream space that can't be articulated in words. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like,
totally. It's like I feel like everybody's had at some point in their life some dream that kind of like messed them up for like a day at least. You know what I mean? Where you're
yeah,
just kind of
it's like I don't know if I'm a very active dreamer. Like I dream regularly. I don't always remember, but I have ones from very like there are probably like 4 or 5 that are like burned into my brain, not reoccurring ones, just
yeah,
really potent,
yeah,
very potent
totally.
ones. Uh,
Hmm.
and I can't find a way to really express what they feel like. Um, And I think that actually I've gotten more interested in like the musical component of songwriting because there's a certain point at which words can't do something, you know.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
like and I mean sort of singing words even changes like what the words mean. Like
Hmm.
the expression of singing or playing like totally changes that. Um
Yeah.
so I guess like when you guys are constructing songs, um I can't believe I'm going down this question rabbit hole because it feels this is like the most generic thing. But like, are you bringing things like musical sketches and stuff to the band, or are you working stuff and then like generally like? And I mean, it might not be
Yeah,
all
like how like
one or the
collaborative
other. Yeah, like
is
or
it?
just like how the work works, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I generally like write alone. And then it's like too weird to stand there and like play something you wrote in front of people, I think. You know what I mean? So I'll make and also it helps me to like make like a like a bedroom recording to
Mhm.
like to make sure, I don't know, that I've covered all the things that you're supposed to cover in a song, I guess. Like, you know, like kind of like how
Yeah.
long is it? Does it have a bridge? You know, like I don't know. So I'll usually make a little bedroom demo of the song that's like guitar, vocals. Sometimes I'll have really specific bass lines in mind, and then so I'll put the bass on there too. And then I'll usually, I feel like I'm really bad with all technology, but I figured out how to make like really simple like drum beats in GarageBand, which I felt like I had like conquered the world when I did that. So I'll sometimes do a little like drum beat, just kind of like a basic to give the idea of where it should be. Um, and then yeah, and then with the with the I'll bring that in and kind of make requests of people, and everybody kind of brings their own little flair to it. And so we have with the next bit of the next music we write will be with a different rhythm section. So that'll be, I feel like I'm very interested and intrigued in how that will go. And we'll see. Everybody, like, they're really great players and really wonderful people to like just be around, which is kind of like top of my priority list with like,
Yeah.
want to play with people I want to be around.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's difficult to be with people you can't stand. Uh, it's
I don't know if I've
possible.
ever played with anybody that I can't. Maybe going way back, I played with some people that I couldn't stand, but
I don't think I've played with
you
anyone
know,
I can't stand, but I've certainly been in bands that were like volatile. I guess
yeah,
I would put it that way.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
that's good. Sometimes that can bring out something in the music,
sure.
but it's not. I don't know. At a certain point in your life, it's not something you really seek out.
You can't like move forward with that, I don't think. I think you can only get so far with that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah. Well, those things they generally explode in very
yeah,
grand
on stage if
fashion.
you're lucky.
I have. Have you ever seen a band break up on stage? I have. I have.
No, with the band I was saying that all my friends like remember the show, there was like an immediate fist fight on stage. Like amongst the band members.
Which amongst the band? Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Pretty cool.
Memorable, memorable.
I know. I mean, well, you
Or were
only
you
really get
fighting
to do like,
anybody, or
huh?
was it your band
No,
fighting, or was it
the
like
band, but basically it was a very small stage, and the singer sometimes just, I don't know, like it was like he would want to like ruffle my feathers, and I'm like, I don't really know what that's about. So I felt like he was kind of like needling at me all day, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna play the drums. And then when we started playing, he immediately like knocked over half the drum set. And then the bass player, who's kind of like a brotherly figure to me, punched him and knocked him off the stage. And then it was just like that was
now we're talking now we're talking. Now we get some true lore going. Uh,
ridiculous.
and
Um,
And you know, it's kind of a like one other thing I wanted to talk about that's kind of interesting is this is a really cool summer for Spirit Hotel shows, and I want to say it's cool and awesome. And how do you feel being the melancholic rock band on like the heavy metal show?
I
Like
love
this,
it.
this
Yeah,
like I
like
think that's like the coolest spot. Like I'm sort of like I think yeah. Like I guess like what's your I don't know. I guess I just want to say that's cool. Um, like,
thank
and I
you.
love that because it's sort of like I
Yeah,
love those. I love the idea of music as mood, not as like
yeah,
genre. So I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
oh, like
yeah,
really heavy, slow bands are evocative of a certain mood.
yeah,
And you guys are evocative of a mood that's not that different, even though musically, conventionally, people might not see it as similar. And so you guys are
yeah.
playing Summer Gloom at the beginning of August, and then you are
Mhm.
playing what's the Doomfest at Ralph's at the end
Wicked
of
Dick Ralph's at the end of August. Yeah. Yeah, our first show this summer is going to be is we're actually opening for that band, the Velt that I was talking about
That's right.
that I
What's the
love.
date on that? We'll get all these dates.
Yeah,
I'll get all these
that's
dates after. I'll put
yeah.
them in the notes. Yeah.
That'll be July 11th at Sonia. It's going to be the Val. We're opening the show, and then Vivid Bloom and Lavina Falls, who are both like local amazing bands. If you haven't
Yeah,
heard them, like
Vivid Bloom's amazing.
yeah, they're amazing. And I saw Lavina Falls. They with the Velt they opened for the Chameleons like in May, I think, and that was like I had heard them, but I hadn't seen them, and like they were just, I mean, just like everything. You know what I mean? Like the musicality, they're like sort of how they are as a band together, like their kind of on-stage chemistry. And their songs are just like really interesting. Like I feel like that's always I don't know, like that's always like what ultimately does it for me. If like I don't know, something happens in the song that I did not anticipate happening, that's like I feel like what keeps me like, listening.
Yeah, it keeps you like in something to engage you. Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
songs. Like I've seen a lot of really good bands
Yeah.
like doing things that I could never possibly do
Yeah.
that don't quite engage
Yeah.
with the
Totally.
audience as much.
Yeah.
Like,
No, exactly what you
and
mean.
sometimes I don't know how to even feel about that because I can't. Like,
Well,
it's
I
like yeah,
mean,
they're wonderful musicians, and like I've seen
yeah.
in my life, I've seen a lot of bands like that. But I would say it's sort of an amazing full circle moment to be playing with the Veld after
Yeah, no, I'm so stoked. Like I'm
like
beyond stoked.
like that is sort of like a beautiful like circle of like where this band is at now.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a moment. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And then yeah, and then Summer Gloom, we're gonna play the closing show on Sunday, August 9th at Deep Cuts. And yeah, Summer Gloom, what did you say? Music is mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love because I remember when I first heard of Summer Gloom a couple years ago, I was like, how do I play this festival? Like,
Yeah, they do
just
an amazing job, like with curation. Like I've tried to get
yeah,
at least like one show they do every year since it's gone to multiple shows. But like
yeah,
every time there's a band that I would think of like for a quote unquote originally marketed as like a doom festival, like a band that is
yeah,
sort of out of that box,
yeah,
like a band that's more of a folk band or more of like a gothic band.
yeah. Do you know Voodoo Sister?
Yes, yeah, from Providence. I'm not. Well, I don't know Voodoo Sister personally, but I know
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen them play. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I know they played Summer Gloom last year. I just saw them for the first time. They played in Salem, and it was like Keith is so talented. It's ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think it's cool that they have like Summer Gloom has this kind of like array that's all within a vibe. So
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
excited that I was finally like invited to come play. I'm like, yes, done.
no, yeah, that's awesome, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like sorry, I got some noise, but let me 1 second.
What was that?
Sorry, there was just some chaotic noises under me. I think my downstairs neighbors installing ceiling fans.
Oh, I was like, do you
Perfectly.
have a cat too? Because like my cat is by me, and I feel like I keep
No,
together.
I got a dog, and she's asleep on the couch right now. So
Nice.
we've already had our long Spirit Hotel walk this morning, and she's full
Lovely.
tuckered out.
Nice.
But yeah, you guys got a lot of amazing stuff coming up. And is there anything else in the future of Spirit Hotel you want to let people know about, or just be
I
opaque for
mean,
now?
I feel like I'll just try and like speak it into being. I'm trying to put together a little event in Salem in September, sort of near the equinox. So if
Nice.
that comes together, that'll be really cool.
I'm fully on brand with speaking things into being.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah,
Manifest.
yeah.
like
Make your
in
vision board, the whole thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, just like we manifested this conversation. So thank you so much for joining me today.
yeah.
Everyone
Thanks.
check out Spirit Hotel. They have a new record out this year called Rev. Yeah.